this at the same time. Let's do that again. Come here. Breakout rooms. We've got 24, so we'll have 5 rooms for now. That'll do. All right. The rooms are open and you are invited to join. Imagine a world in which you can do whatever you want. Just talk about that. See what comes up in your conversations.
Alo dạ.
I've just joined you into a room so you can go and visit. Okay? Can you hear me? What's going on? Yeah, that worked. Good. Yep, had one. There's 2 left. All right, welcome back. Group 4. Sung P, what did your group think?
Oh yeah, we group discuss if if we can do anything we want, is to change the world is to change destructions or not bad. Sorry, it's bad for human being. For example, if we can rob a bank, if it's like loneliness. We discuss is loneliness and it's not good for human beings.
Okay. Thank you. All right, group. Let me ask group 2, Tanzor Kant, what did group 2 think?
So, if we can do everything what we want, a world will full with corruption.
Ah, okay. So that's bad.
Yeah, this our discussion.
All right, thank you. Let me go now, group one. Cool.
Yeah, we discussed about we can do whatever what we want to. If we can do what we want to, most of people will do bad thing rather than a good thing. uh, there is no there is no ethics. There will no ethics.
Good. That's an interesting point. There is always ethics. Always ethics. They're just a question of whether they're good ethics or bad ethics.
Yeah.
Okay, we all behave ethically in a sense. Yeah. Anybody else want to comment from any other group or anybody? Okay, I think the lesson is that we need a sense of right and wrong in our societies. And all societies, Christian or otherwise, have kind of rules, guidelines, understood principles about what is appropriate to do and what is not, you know? So there's a sense in which, forgetting about Christianity, regardless, every society is ethical in some way. Yeah, it's something about the way God made us that we have the sense of what is right and what is wrong. Most people do. All right, that was the beginning. Thank you for participating. Now, I want to give you a couple of definitions. Ethics was a big topic in Greek literature. Aristotle said happiness is an activity of the soul in accordance with virtue, in line with, consistent with virtue. Now, what virtue is going to be a discussion that we'll have later, but for now, virtue is like character. It's like who you are. Anyway, more on that coming. Epicurus, who was around the same time, this is about 300 or 400 BC, before Jesus, said, it is not possible to live pleasantly or to live happily without living prudently, honorably, and justly. So to have honor, to act with justice. Prudent means to be wise. Okay? So those are two famous explanations from Aristotle and Epicurus. And what they're saying, as I've put down the bottom, is success is measured by the kind of person you are, not by what you have accomplished or achieved. You see the difference? That these guys are saying success is measured by character, not by your accomplishments, like you've done this and you've da-da-da-da-da. Now, it's not quite, not everyone agrees, but that's kind of what they're saying. So back in the early days of ethics, people were thinking, these are secular philosophers, they are thinking about character. So character will have a big part to play in measuring, talking about ethics. All right. Who's that? Barthule.
Mother Teresa.
Teresa.
Yeah,
Yes.
Mother Teresa. So was she successful?
Yes.
Well, that's right. She did become famous, but there'll be many people like her that we have never heard of and don't know about. But the way she lived was what, and was very important to her success and her respect from other people. So that's an example of how success and character, or she is an example of success and character going together. Last, in Christian leadership, you may or may not remember, but I'll do it again. We talked about a man, an American called Bob Pierce. He was the founder of World Vision and the founder of Samaritan's Purse. And he had a big heart. He cared greatly for people suffering in the world. And he gave his life to serving other people. But he didn't serve his family so well. He was away from home about 10 months every year. He actually left his wife. They never divorced in a legal way, but they were not together. One of their children committed suicide. Now, you see, you've got a real tension in here. Here's a man who started World Vision and another well-known charity and helped thousands upon thousands, possibly millions of people. But there's some not so good things. Now, how do we ethically think about that? Does the great results that he got justify the way he treated his family? Is that okay? I'm not asking you to answer that, but ethically, this is an awkward situation. Now, the question we should ask is, how does God see that? I don't know. Anyway, this whole class, this first class, is just throwing ideas at you, because the way that ethics is going to go, I hope, first of all, that you'll get confused and a little bit disoriented, and then it will slowly start to come together and you say, yeah, I start to understand that. So we're just dropping ideas, being a little bit awkward for the first class or two. Okay. So Scott Ray, in his book, chapter 1, he says, from a Christian worldview, morality is built into the fabric of the universe. And it's built into our constitution. Doesn't mean a legal constitution. It means who we are as human beings. It's part of us. It's part of what it means to be human. To be moral is to be human. To be human is to be moral. Scripture, Romans 2, verses 14 to 15. Indeed, says Paul, when Gentiles who do not have the law do by nature things required by the law, they are or become a law for themselves, even though they don't have the law, but they're behaving in accordance with it. They show that the requirements of the law, and by this he means God's law, are written on their hearts, and their consciences bear witness, challenge them, and their thoughts sometimes accuse them or defend them. So that's Paul's way of saying everybody has a sense of right and wrong, of morality. That's the way we've been made, Christian or not, Jew or not, doesn't matter. It's a part of our makeup, this morality. And that's why philosophers have written and thought about morality, and morality and ethics are almost the same word. They've thought about it and talked about it, and things like, why do good? How do I define what is good? And so on. Those are the things that we need to talk about. So the takeaway there, we are moral beings. Any questions, comments?
Sorry,
Yes.
about the words morality and ethics. Is it morality is more relating with our thoughts or mind, and ethics is how we act? Is it how it differs? Because in Burmese translation it is the same. It is Kojinteka.
Same word
Yeah.
for both.
Yep.
Excellent. That's good. Well, English has just made it more complicated. So stay with your own word and treat ethics and morality as the same thing. They're not, one is not more thinking than another. Ultimately, they're both assessed by what we do. And I've said this in other classes, the issue is what we do in the end, not what we say, but what we do. And ultimately, people reveal their morals or their ethics through what they do. That's how you see. Thank you. That's good question. Any others that you want to ask at this point? Okay, onward. Let's see what's next. Oh, why should I be good? Now, I'm going to put you in breakout groups to discuss this. But I want you to assume that a non-Christian has asked you this question. Right? Someone who is not a believer in God or in Jesus Christ. They say, why should I be good? What answer would you give to them? All right? Easy. Let's do it. Breakout rooms, open. Okay, that'll work. Off you go.
We group discussed this. Yeah, human is moral being. So, and God went to be a good person in our society. So we discussed that if we are not good person in societies, and we give them how to say a uh, bad ideas.
Mhm.
So uh, I want to say we need to good person. That's
Okay.
so
All right.
yes, yeah. So
All right,
thank you.
Good. Group 5, Sothuri, what did your group talk about?
Yes, sir. We could discuss in any religious or our society in the world. We want good person, not not bad people. That's why so we need to be a good person, and it's just for not just for myself, but our society.
That's an interesting
Yes.
thing, that morality is not just about me, never. It's always in the context or the situation of us. See, if you were the only person in the world, what does it matter? Yeah, doesn't really matter at all. Okay. Someone, any other comments from groups?
Being good is showing yourself respect yourself also.
Yeah.
Like doing the bad thing, the thing that harm you, like smoking, drinking, whatever, is if you do that things, you do not respect yourself, something like that. So
Right.
so
That's
to
it.
be
That's a
good,
nice
yeah,
idea. Yeah.
yeah.
Anybody, what do you think Jesus would have said? Might have said if he was asked that question.
Our good discuss. Jesus reply with a question.
Yeah. What kind of question might he ask?
Con đề sura bale. What do you mean by good?
Exactly. I was thinking the same, that he might say, so what do you mean by good? And that's I think that's better than just giving an answer, because you don't know what this person you're talking to means by good. And
Yeah.
so yeah. But anyway, the general principle is it's often a good idea just to ask another question, if for no other reason than that you want to understand. Yeah. Because my view of good and the person who's asking me what it means could be quite different. So, okay, we're making quiet progress. Let's continue. Now, one more breakout. I've got lots of breakouts, but it's good to get you to do the work. What does the Bible teach us about moral theology? Now, let me just say a word about that to help clarify it. And in Scott Ray's book, he does talk about it. And the idea is that morality is what is right and wrong, and ethics is the process of working that out. So there's a sense in which moral theology is like a noun and ethics is the verb. They're still very similar ideas. Anyway, so where does the Bible talk about moral theology or ethics? See if you can find a few passages, Old Testament and New Testament. I'll ask you, we'll write some of them down and see what we come up with. Okay? Old Testament and New Testament passages on moral theology or ethics, same idea. It's about doing good, all right? Doing the right thing. Any questions before I send you to groups? Okay.
No.
Off we go. Here we go. All right. Let me begin. Who was I going to ask? Johnny. Johnny, what did your group suggest for verses?
In Old Testament, Leviticus chapter 19, verse 18.
Which says, be holy, I think.
No,
what does it say?
Let me let me see. You should not take vengeance or bear a grudge against the
Hey.
sons of your own people.
Not bear a grudge. Don't hate people. Good. Thank you for that. I'll just keep spreading it around. Next was Saw Simon. Your group.
So we group discuss about and also the whole Leviticus is it's not exact.
Okay. Yeah, I've just been reading Leviticus. It does have quite a lot of things about what you should and should not do.
Yes.
Most of Leviticus, yes.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Lamboy.
And in the New Testament, Luke chapter 10, verse, I think 25 to 37, Good Samaritan. And Galatians 6, verse 2, carry each other burdens.
Good. Excellent. Thank you. Next. Tintin.
Exodus 20, 12 to 17.
Exodus 20.
Yeah. 12 to 17.
What's that? Ballet. Is that the commandments?
Yeah, to respect the parents.
Oh, okay. Yep. Okay. Good hope. I'll cross that off. Wasn't quite right. And Michael.
Yes, we also talk about the Ten Commandments in the Old Testament.
Yep.
Yeah, in the New Testament, we talk about Jesus' teaching, especially the Sermon on the Mount.
Right. Yes. And we will talk more about that in maybe 2 more classes, 2 weeks time, but that's good. Anything else from anybody?
I think Deuteronomy is also moral guidance.
Yep, lots in Deuteronomy. Good.
The book of Proverbs.
Oh, yes, Proverbs. Proverbs and all the stuff about wisdom, especially. Yeah.
Yes. What
really
with wise. And the book of Amos.
Amos. Because
in Amos it says about you turn justice to wormwood and cast down righteousness to the earth. In 5:7 and 5:21 to 24 it said, I despise your feast, things like that.
Hallelujah.
Good.
But how about the book of Revelation?
How about it?
Yeah, Revelation.
Because
I think in New Testament, Philemon is also.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I think the point is made. There's lots. There's a lot of things in the Bible about moral theology. There's one I'd like to add, just a small one that's quite interesting, and we'll come back to it. Ephesians 4:32. It says at the end, speak the truth in love. Speak the truth in love. And what that does, it brings 2 ideas together, and we'll come back to that in a little while. Okay, so no surprise, there's plenty of moral theology in the Bible. We knew that. So we've come far enough. Before we take a break, I want to kind of show you some of the important concepts that we'll revisit, and there's 4 of them. First one is action. Ethics is about what you do, the actions that you take and the things that you do. That's no surprise. Of course, it has to be. But that's not all. Action is also about motive. Now, motive, another word for motive is intention. All right? Motive is, why am I doing this? Another part that we haven't really talked about yet, but we will, is consequences. You know, if you do bad things, it has consequences. And that's part of what makes something bad or good, right? Just the consequences of what happens when you do something. And lastly is character. And ethics is very interested in character, or back to virtue, same idea. And by the end of the 3rd week, we will understand all these things really well. But for now, we're just starting to touch on them. So if you like, action is what I do. Motive is why I do it. Right? They're different, right? Consequences is kind of like what happens. And character is a little bit about who I am. So there's lots of things that will go into thinking about ethics, and that's just a bit of a summary of the main ideas. What, why, another what I do and what happens and so on. Okay. I won't do a breakout on this, but there's a really interesting idea that's important to think about. The quotation is, we cannot legislate morality. That is, we cannot define morality just by having laws and rules. Do you agree? I should have done a poll on this. Oh, let me do one. I'll make a poll right now. Poll 1, add a question. Oh, what? What's it doing? Well, weird things are happening here. Just bear with me. I think it's all too hard. Next. It wants me to sign in again. And I've got to click. Can you see the screen? No, you can't. All right. All right, no. I can, it's all right. I'll do it in a sec. I'm going to do a poll. Add a question. Almost there now. Right. Morality, anonymous, can we legislate for morality? And the single choice, yes, no. All right, I'll give you a not sure option. All right, done, save. All right, launch, here we go. Can you see the question?
Yeah.
Okay, can we legislate for morality? Can we define morality by rules? Yes, no, not sure. Please vote. It's anonymous. I don't know who says what.
Can we legislate for morality?
That means how did I put that in the screen sharing? Let me just try and find my screen and check what I said.
Sir, I did wrong. Can I change my answer back?
No, I'm sorry, you can't.
Sorry.
It's okay. It's all right. No one's going to know what you said. 9, 16, 20. So we've got 6 more people to vote. It's just good to think about these things. We're not trying to get the full answers yet. 24 people, 2 more. These 2 votes will be important because it might make all the difference. The last person needs to vote if they're there. All right. Okay, too late. And here's the results. Well, you certainly don't agree. About half of you say yes, half of you say no, or about the same number say no, and a few people aren't sure. So, can we legislate for morality? Well, let's take a break for 10 minutes, and then we'll come back and unpack and discuss that idea a little bit more. So 10 minutes, take a break. I'll pause the recording. All right, welcome back, everyone. I presume most of you there or coming in. It's recorded anyway, so you can catch up with it later if you want to. Okay. Let's see how we're doing. We've got 24, so there's a couple of people who probably still trying to join, but that'll be all right. The thing about legislating for morality is you can't legislate for intention, for motive. You can make people do things by laws and rules, but you might not change their hearts. So my early answer to this statement about we cannot legislate morality is that rules are helpful, but they don't necessarily change our hearts. They make us conform and we obey. That's good, I think. But what I'd say is it's not enough. Ethics is more than keeping the rules. And you can see that, for example, in the Pharisees in the time of Jesus. They kept the laws, but their heart was not in the right place. And so rules by themselves or laws are necessary for a society, but they don't guarantee people, or they don't always make people ethical. So that's the thoughts behind that one, and it's quite an important idea because we kind of think that rules will do the job. And so that means, and we'll come to this later, that the 10 Commandments are still completely valid, but not enough. Not enough. So just leave that open. We'll talk about it more later. I want to tell you a story. This person here, can you see the screen? Okay. Yep. Good.
Yes, yes.
Yes.
This person is you. You have gone, you are walking in the country, just a quiet walk, and you come up to some railway lines. You see this railway line here, and you think, oh, that's unusual. I did not expect to see a railway line. And you look down the railway line and you see, oh no, somebody is tied to the railway line. This person is alive. You don't know them. You can just see them there tied to the railway line. You think, oh my gosh. And then you look a bit further and you see another railway line, and there's 5 people tied to that railway line. You don't know them, these people either. And you think, golly, that's interesting. I wonder what's going on. And then you hear the sound of a train coming down the railway line. And the train is out of control. The driver has had a heart attack and died. So nobody is controlling the train. And it looks like the train is, let me make a pointer here. It looks like the train's just going to come down here and kill 5 people. And then you notice that you're standing by this handle, this lever, this switch. And you realize that if you pull the switch, you can make the train change direction and go down here, and it will only kill 1 person. Okay? Now the train is about 3 seconds away from this intersection here. So what would you do? Would you do nothing and let the train kill 5 people? Or would you pull the lever and let the train turn around and just kill 1 person? All right? I'll put you in your breakout groups to discuss what you would do. If you have questions, send me a message. Breakout rooms, open all rooms, go. Yep. Everyone's been joined, so you should be able to get there okay. What would you do if you're standing by that lever? Would you pull it and make the train go down the other line and kill 1 person? Or would you say, do nothing, I'll just leave it and 5 people will die? Is your connection okay, Susie? Okay, welcome back, everyone. Apu-san, what did your group say?
Our group choose 4 people, the 4 people to be saved.
Okay, so
Five.
you'd kill one
Oh,
person.
Yes, we kill one person.
Okay. Dinam.
You said it.
Yeah, I think according to the picture, is me is nearby only one person. It's more near, so train is out of control. So if I run to 5 also, I will be late. So it's better to save one person.
Because? Why?
No, according to this, the picture or the story, is better to save one person. According
Well,
to the train, the ringway is 2 sides. So one side is nearby me is only one person. And
Yeah.
if I cross that ringway, 5 person, I could not be safe. So only one person is near to me, so I will save him.
Ah, okay, but that means you will let 5 people die, right?
Yes.
And that's your choice.
I think, sir.
Critical question.
Can I interrupt the conversation, please? I think Dinam confused with the question because it is related with that the thing that the man is holding. It can change the direction. You can choose 5 people or one people,
Yes.
1 person or 5 person. Maybe Dinam is confused with he personally get to save the people.
Explain in Bamazaga so everybody knows, and then we'll continue.
အဲ့ဒီရက်နေတဲ့ကောင်ကင်ထားတာအဲ့ဒါလမ်းကြောင်းပြောင်းလို့ရတဲ့ခလုတ်အခုသွားနေမှာက9ယောက်စီမှာသွားမှာဒါပေမဲ့အဲ့ဒါကိုလှည့်လိုက်လို့ရှင်ဒီဘက်1ယောက်စီကိုရွှေ့သွားနိုင်တယ်ဒါပေမဲ့သွားကယ်ဖို့အတွက်3စက္ကန့်ဆိုလား5စက္ကန့်ဆိုလားအဲ့လောက်ပဲအချိန်ရှိတယ်ဆိုတော့ဒီတုံးကိုဒီအကောင်ကိုဆွဲလိုက်လို့ရှင်ဒီယထာအကောင်ကလမ်းကြောင်းပြောင်းသွားမှာဆိုတော့လူကိုယ်တိုင်သွားကယ်ကြမလို့ကွာဆိုတော့ဒီနာမလူကိုယ်တိုင်သွားကယ်ဖို့ပြောလို့
မဟုတ်လူဟိုဆိုတဲ့အချိန်မှာလမ်းကြောင်းကိုလွဲဖို့ဆိုတဲ့အချိန်မှာကြတော့ဒီဟိုတက်တက်ကိုသွားဒီလမ်းကြောင်းကနှစ်ခု꿰ကောက်နေတယ်ဒါပေမဲ့တစ်ခုကဖြောင်းနေရလေနော်တစ်ခုက꿰နေရလေအနားမှာဆိုတော့꿰တဲ့ဖက်ကိုပဲကျွန်တော်တို့စိုက်ပြီးတော့လှုပ်လိုက်မှာပေါ့ယထာပဲဆက်သွားရမှန်းကိုလည်းမသိဘူးမတိချာမြည်ရတဲ့လမ်းလေးဖြစ်နေ
လူကိုယ်တိုင်တွားကြဲစရာမလိုအဲ့ခလုတ်ကိုနှိပ်ရတဲ့ခလုတ်ကကြွနဲ့သူအလုံးလုံးသွားမှာကွာ
မဟုတ်လူကယ်ဖို့အချိန်မမီဘူးပြောချင်တာလူကယ်ဖို့အချိန်လုံးဝအချိန်မမီဘူး
အနည်းနည်းဝဲဝဲကယ်ဖို့အချိန်မမီဘူး
ဟုတ်တယ်လမ်းကြောင်းအဲ့ဆွဲထားတာပေါ့မကြည့်တိတ်ပြီးတော့အတူရှည်ကိုမကြည့်ရဘူးလူကယ်လို့မရဘူး
ဟုတ်စား
ဒါလေကားတက်တယ်ကွာကြွနဲ့သူသွားနေ
အဲ့9ယောက်ကလူဆိုးဖြစ်ပြီးတော့1ယောက်ကလူကောင်းဖြစ်နေမဖြစ်ဘူးဆူတောင်းတော့
ဟုတ်တယ်အဲ့တော့ဆရာပဲမေးလိုက်ပါ
So we
နောက်ကြောင့်လည်းအရှိမပေါ်
ကောင်းတော့ဘူးမှမသိဘူးလေ
ဒီကအဲ့လူတွေကပုံကဘလူမျိုးလိုက်တော့လည်းမသိနိုင်ဘူးလို့အဲ့ကနိုင်ငံတော်ပုံကနဲ့လူတွေလားဟိုကဆွဲခရတဲ့သူ
အဲ့ဒါမြင်စရာရှိတယ်နော်
9ယောက်ကတော့ ISD ဖြစ်မဲ့ပုံပေါ်တယ်
You need to contact me.
Sir, can I ask one question, sir?
လားအဝေးမသွားကြနဲ့လို့
ဒီယောက်ကခရစ်ယာန်နဲ့9ယောက်ကဟိုဟုတ်တယ်
Muslim.
Toby.
Sir, can I ask one question?
Yeah, sure.
Is there any person inside the train?
Yes, and he is dead.
Ah, I see.
He had a heart attack as he was coming along. So he's the driver, but he can't stop the train anymore because he can't. So what else? Let me ask Nwachadu, what did your group say?
We will save 5 people.
Say 5. Okay, thank you. Chung, what was your group?
We said if there's no person inside the train, then we would try to sleep that train.
You would try to what?
We try to do that train to be sleep.
Ah, okay. Well, you can't do that. So do you pull the lever or not?
If we pull the lever, then it would go to 1 person or
That's
straight
correct.
to 5%.
Yes, if you do nothing, 5 people die. If you pull the lever, 1 person dies.
In that case, we just said to save 5 people is better.
Okay. And lastly, Ezekiel.
Yeah. The same. Yeah, we will save 5 people and we will try more than 1 people to save.
Excellent. Okay, so now if the 1 person who's on the railway track is your favorite auntie and you don't know the other people, what will you do? Will you change your mind?
Sir, I think so. In the train have no one, and there is uncontrollable. So it is also already stopped. No need to change.
Well, but you can do something. You can pull the lever and change the direction, or you can do nothing and the train keeps going straight. The choice is yours.
I think so. Whatever I can do, the train stop because no one drive.
Yeah, that's right. No one's controlling the train, and only you can control whether the train goes straight ahead or goes around and kills 1 person. You have control over that.
I think saving. Okay. I think it is according to my opinion. It is saving 5 people will be a wise choice.
Okay. Even if that 1 person is your auntie.
If 1 people are auntie, we will save her.
We can save both 6 person by lying in front of the train by yourself.
Yeah, the problem is that you're a very small person and the train won't stop. Okay, and you don't have time to do that. All right, now let me interrupt. Usually this is what happens. People say, yeah, I get it. Now I want to tell you the story again. All right, here we go. This is number 2. You're out for a walk in the country and you come to a bridge. You climb up the top of the bridge and just stand there looking and you see a railway line. And you look and you see, oh no, 5 people tied to the railway line. And then you hear a noise and there's a train coming. And the train is out of control because the driver has died. And you think, that train is going to kill 5 people. And then you see another person on the bridge with you, quite a big person actually, and he doesn't look that well. And you're thinking, well, if he had an accident and fell off the bridge, he would be big enough to stop the train, and I could save 5 lives by doing that. But you see, you're quite a small, skinny person, so if you jumped off, the train would just go straight over you, so it wouldn't help. So here's the question this time. There's two things you could do. You could do nothing and watch the train come by and kill 5 people, or you could push this really big man or help him have an accident and fall off the bridge, and he would stop the train, but he would die. Okay, that's the choice. What would you do this time? I'll give you 3 minutes in breakout rooms to think about that one. What would you do? Okay, let me do it. Breakout rooms open. There we go. Come on. All right. Quickly then, I'll just go through each group briefly, starting with J or C. What did your group 5 say?
So yes, we discussed that. We have 2 options, sir. The first one, he talked that in order to save 5 people, he will push the one, you know, he will do challenge miserable. He will push
Push the big one.
and yes, 1%. But the next one said saving life by losing life is not good. He will
understand. Therefore,
he will watch. You know, he will watch. He cannot do anything. So that
okay.
he will let die 5 people.
Okay, I understand. Cheng Sa.
Can do anything.
What did your group think?
Same. We can do anything.
You can't do anything. So you just watch. Just watch. Okay. Thank you. Nuachet U. Oh, sorry, Sangha. I want to ask Sangha this time.
Okay, sir, this question is very difficult to answer. So our group does not have a definite answer.
So you just
can
watch.
do anything.
Well, you see, if you do nothing, 5
Yes.
people die. Yeah. That's okay. Fine.
Yes.
Yep.
Okay.
Okay. So, Sam.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, San, what did your group say?
Our group were allowed to die 5 people.
Okay. Oh, I'm glad I'm not one of those 5 people. Okay.
No, sir, I think here, if we pour this fatty 1%, then if we push him, pull him, then the rain will stop, right?
Yeah, he's big enough to stop the train. Yeah.
Yeah, that means according to me, saving 5% life is more better because 1% we need to sacrifice.
Yeah.
So I will push him
then I will save 5% life.
Okay. And just to be difficult, if that person was your father, would you still do that?
Oh, it's very critical.
Okay, thank you that's an honest, helpful thing. Lastly, Pastor No, what did your group think?
We should do that. Push the big man and save 5 people.
Okay, all right. Thank you, everyone. Now let me talk about this a little bit more. Here's the first version of the train, which we talked about. And what this is all about consequences. It's the consequence of saving 5 people or 1 person. It's very simple, or not simple, but it's a choice between 2 different consequences. And when I use this problem, most people say that what they'll do is they will save 5 people. Yeah, because 5 people is 5 people compared with 1. However, when we look at this version of the train problem, not so simple, because we don't have, it's not so simple, because one option is kill 5 people. The other option is to push the man off the bridge. And that, if you push the man off the bridge, that's murder. That's breaking one of the 10 commandments. And so in this problem, we've got a principle and consequences together. In the first problem, just consequences. In the second problem, we've got consequences of 5 people dying, or the principle, the law, the rule that you should not kill somebody. All right? And so most people say, these guys are going to die because I'm not going to push this man off the bridge. All right, so all of that was to help us understand ethically the difference between principles, or what you would call laws or rules, and consequences, which are what you would call outcomes, what happens. And sometimes, often in ethical issues, there is a conflict between what the law or the rule or the principle says and what the outcomes are. And we have to learn ways to deal with that. Okay, so that's the main idea of the trolley problem, or the train problem, is to see the difference between making a decision based on consequences, which is what we do in number 1. In number 1, it is definitely all about consequences. Okay, let me try and write that down. It's about consequences. But in number 2, it's more about principles. Do not murder. Now, there's no right answer. In fact, sometimes you're not sure what the right answer is. So that principles and consequences, those are 2 foundational ideas when it comes to thinking about things ethically. Just one example, a real example. A few years ago, one of the students in the class was CEth2020 Class01. Some of you will know her. Her brother was dying, and the family met together to decide whether they would give him more morphine as a drug, which will make him die faster. Now, Should they not do that because it's kind of wrong to kill someone? Or should they help him in his great pain just to finish his life more quickly? So that's a real problem that CEth2020 had to deal with. You're dealing with a principle and a consequence, and you have to make a choice. Okay, here's a video. Let me try and play this video for you to explain it. Okay, you can watch that again if you want to on the Zoom recording. Oh, well, look, let me, before I wrap up, here's a real one for me. In 2016, I was planning to go to Nigeria to teach a course for DAI on of all things, ethics. And I had to get a visa for Nigeria. Very difficult thing to do. You're supposed to get the visa from your own country. And I was not flying back to New Zealand to get a visa for Nigeria. So I went to Bangkok and it took a whole week to get a visa. I presented my documents on Monday. This is the Nigerian embassy in Bangkok. And on Wednesday, I had an interview with the visa man. And then on Friday, if I was successful, I could pick up my passport and visa and go back to Myanmar. So I'm recently, at the time they had a Muslim president, and the government weren't that keen on Christians. And if I was thinking, if they asked me, what am I doing? Why am I going to Nigeria? Would I say, oh, I'm just going to visit a friend, or I'm going to teach a course in Christian ethics? How truthful would I be? So this was a real ethical issue. So what to do? Because if I tell the truth, that I'm going to teach a course in Christian ethics, they might not give me a visa. If I tell them I'm going to visit a friend, that's not untrue, but it's not really why I'm going. It's not the reason that I'm going there. So what would you do? The consequences are, well, if I don't get the visa, I can't teach it. All the students are planning to come. They'll have to find somebody else. It may be difficult. So do you tell a lie or not? Okay. What do you think? What would you do? well, I'll keep the story short for now because I've got one short breakout that I'd like you to do at the end. I went into the meeting with the senior visa person who was watching a football game on the television at the same time. And he didn't ask me why I wanted to go to Nigeria. So that was a blessing. That was helpful. And he said, but then he said, this is very complicated, really. We are not supposed to give visas to people who are not applying from their own country. And then he said, but because you're old, we'll give you a visa. So I got a visa. See, ethical issues come to us all the time. So I have one question for you to think of, one statement for you to think about in your groups, a short discussion, and then we will finish this class. Here's the statement. An ethical person does what is right. An ethical person does what is right. Do you agree or not? Why? An ethical person does what is right. Do you agree or do you not agree? What are your reasons? Give you a few minutes to talk about that in your breakout rooms. An ethical person does what is right. Sorry about that. The first 5 weeks are classes like this one, where I will present some stuff, we will interact, and slowly we'll build up an understanding of what ethics is. So that means we'll do chapters 1, 2, 3, and 4 from the textbook. I want everyone to read it. Only 4 short chapters. And then I'm going to sort of take a break and talk about pastoral issues that relate to ethics. So that's the first 5 weeks. The next 4 weeks are mostly, not only, but mostly presentations by groups. I'll tell you what the groups I've assigned are. But so in week 6, for example, and let me find week 6 is, where is it? It's here. Week 6, we're going to look at chapters 5 and 6 of Ray. One's on abortion and the other is on reproductive technologies, which when you read it, you will understand. So 2 groups will present on that. The following week, 2 more chapters, and then 2 more chapters, 2 more chapters. Only the groups need to read the chapter that you're presenting. So in other words, I expect everyone to read chapters 1 to 4, and then the group that is presenting on abortion will read chapter 5. The group presenting on reproductive technologies will read chapter 6, etc., etc., etc. You can read more of it, which is great, but I don't require it. I want to give you a small amount of reading that is realistic, and I expect you to do it. So that's the idea. So for weeks 6, 7, 8, and 9, each week 2 groups will be presenting. I'll explain what I want you to do in a minute. Let me do that. So assignment 2, which is the presentation, students will work in groups of 3 or 4. Each group is given a chapter from the book by Scott Ray. There are 3 parts to your assignment. The first part is I want you to summarize the chapter and answer the review questions. Each chapter has 3 or maybe 4 review questions. So maybe 1 or 2 people in your group can focus on that. You write it in your own words and write your responses to the review questions. Maybe I've suggested you could allocate one question to each group member and give the name of the student who answered the question or something like that. So that's the first part. The second part is to create a case, an ethical situation based on that chapter topic that is in a Myanmar context. So if you're doing abortion, you come up with a Myanmar case on abortion, and you will present the case to us in the class and give us time to, well, no, you will do an analysis of your case. And then the third part is you will present your findings to the class. So take about 5 minutes to explain the chapter, about 3 minutes to explain your case. Give us maybe 5 to 7 minutes to discuss the case, and then we'll come together and discuss it, the whole thing. So I can give someone the ability to manage the Zoom for that, and they can do it. It should take about 25, 30 minutes. So that would be 2 of those. That's about 1 hour. And then I'll do some other things, some questions, some review, and take things a little bit further. So every class from weeks 6, 7, 8, and 9, 2 groups will be presenting. Here's my allocation. When I send you the PowerPoint slides, you'll get them. I did this randomly, except I decided to put all the ladies in 2 separate groups so they can work together. Now, what I will offer is if you really want to change your group and you can arrange with somebody else to change, then you advise me and I will change this. If you find someone else who agrees with you, okay? Otherwise, that's your group. And I honestly did it randomly. So I didn't take account of anything that I knew or not. It just put you together. So when you get the PowerPoint slides, which will be in about 20 minutes after the class is finished, you can take a closer look at it. If you have a problem, or you can suggest to me a change, and as long as the other person agrees to change, that's fine. And so that's class 1. I'll upload to Google Classroom the PowerPoint slides and the Zoom recording, and then next week we're going to talk about theological ethics and where does morality come from. Please read the chapter before class. It will help our engagement a lot more. So that is the formal end of the class. I'm going to stop the recording